Hey everybody, welcome to the Indispensable Conversation. I'm here today with my good buddy Rhett Power, and we're here to explore this one really important question, and that is this. Is a leader's thirst for celebrity good for business? Now, Rhett, before you answer that question, I want to make sure you have a cup of coffee in your hand, because this is going to be one of those where we're going to probably need to double down on our caffeine. So cheers, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Cheers. I'm glad you told me to go get a second cup, because it sounds like I'm going to need it.
Yes, indeed. So what do you think? Is a leader's thirst for celebrity good for business? What's your take?
A thirst for celebrity. I'll tell you what, my thirst for coffee was more important than that question, but this morning. But no, I think it's a legit question. I mean, and I don't know if I would phrase it like that or phrase it like differently. But I think it's look, self-promotion and promoting what you do is absolutely critical. And I mean, I come from a marketing background, so for me, it's not a question of do you do it; it's the question of how you do it. And the question of how you go after the audience that you need for your business, to tell people about what you do, to offer your services, to offer the help that you for whatever it is you do. So in my case, I'm a coach. I'm an executive coach, and I run a leadership consultancy called Courageous Leadership. So I got to tell the world about how courageous can help people, right? I've got to tell the world how I can help people as an executive coach. And so with all the, stuff out there, it's with all the noise, with all the choices that people have, I've got to tell people how I do it and what I do and how I can help them. So I don't really see as so much as a thirst for celebrity as I do as a way to market who I am and what I do and how I can help somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a fine line between building the brand and doing the promotion that you need to drive business, right, versus somebody that wants to be a rock star. I feel that, remarkable people, by definition, are worthy of remark, right? So if you're doing good stuff, you're doing good work, you're getting the word out there about what you do, you've got, a pipeline of people that will support, all the fine work that you've done with them. That's kind of what you need to drive business. The thing that I think sometimes can be a bit over the top is when you get the feeling that someone starts a business not for growth per se, but rather to be that rock star. And, it's almost like shameless self-promotion. And and I guess I wondered, do you think can you have too much of that? Can it be something that's, counter to what you're trying to achieve as a business person?
Sorry, I'm having to scoot out of the rain. It actually started raining while I'm here on my porch. So sorry about that. I had to scoot under the umbrella. No,
well, I'm just happy that you're at a beach house. I mean, that to me is here I am in the bar,
bar, beach, drinks. We're good, man. We're good. LinkedIn Live. I think no, you actually bring up a really good distinction, right? Between people that go out and seek it and really, I think there's a line, right, between sort of bragging and overly self-promoting versus really advertising and showing and telling people and giving people your perspective on how you can help. I do think there's a clear distinction, and I mean, you know, I was just on this reality show. And if you'd asked me a few years ago, would I ever be on this reality show? I would have said, are you out of your mind? Right. Because my view of reality TV is pretty low. And I didn't, we actually turned down a program when I ran the toy company, when I was the CEO and co-founder of the toy company. And we thought it would be too much of a distraction. We thought the marketing would probably be okay for us. But the fact is that there's always a villain, there's always a bad guy, and we just felt like, there was way too much drama in the company anyway. We didn't need any more drama, and we didn't need to manufacture it, and we didn't need the distraction from what we were really trying to accomplish, which was run a business, not be TV stars. But as I, started coaching and I'm looking for ways to get the message out about what I do and get out the message about how coaching can help really elevate your game and elevate your business and make you a better leader. We do things like LinkedIn Live, and we're constantly on podcasts, and we're constantly out there trying to talk to as many people as we can and broaden our network. The show came up about 6 months ago, and it was interesting to me because it's a show with teenagers on it. It was a show about building a business in 4 days to sort of tackle one of the huge social challenges of our time, things like cancer and racism and different massive societal challenges. And that had a lot of appeal to me because it was about teamwork. It was about bringing diverse people together to solve a problem. It was everything that I do. It like checked all the boxes of some of the things I actually do every day with people and with teams.
Sure.
And so there was it was real appealing from that standpoint, and that's why I ended up doing it because I thought there's not, and after looking at some of the stuff for season and stuff, I looked at it, so that this is a show it's not going to hurt me at all. It's actually going to really help me and actually showcase in a unique way what I do and how I can help bring people together on teams. And so that's why I ended up doing it, because I thought this is going to actually help in a real way, and in a way like doing it right here. I can tell people all the time that I'm very good at this, but that's actually going to showcase it. I get TV time to actually showcase what I do,
right.
and so that's why I end up doing it. But I think to your question, people, you have to find that balance, because it can be a real turnoff, right? Self-promotion, and if it seems overly done or overly, I don't want to say braggish, if that's even a word, then it's a turnoff.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you can pull off a TV show, okay? I can't. I've often been told that I have a face for radio, so, so I can't.
That's not true. That's not true, Jim. I was just thinking you look kind of like Kevin Costner. I was just thinking you look like Kevin. Yeah. You got the Kevin Costner look going on. I think you could do TV very well. I think you're selling yourself short.
Well, that could be, but nonetheless, I think what's really kind of fascinating to me as I was preparing for our conversation today, I kind of did a little bit of research, and what was striking was there were surveys done about, do we, as Americans, do we pursue celebrity? And the survey showed that about 30% of the population really do. They want to be,
really
famous. Yeah. And 40% believe that they're going to get that 15 minutes of fame sometime in their life. That old Andy Warhol quote. But what was even more fascinating is they repeated the same survey in China and in Germany, and they were the same results. So it seems like sort of part of the human condition. There's something in about a third of the population of the world, I guess, that really gets turned on by celebrity. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you make of that? Any observations from those statistics, Rhett?
That I'm frightened. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I don't really give it a bit of thought. I don't even know what celebrity really is, right?
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, I don't have a clue what celebrity really is or means because, you and I write and are out there quite a bit and pretty well known. You're an author, well-known author and such. And I mean, is that celebrity? Is that seeking celebrity? I don't know. Like I'm just trying to put my stuff out there, right? And I'm just trying to I'm trying to grow a business. I don't
Sure.
know. I don't know if the motive. I don't think there's any. I'm going to be reflecting on that for a long time now. I don't think there's this drive to like sign autograph. I don't sign autographs and have like the paparazzi following me.
Right.
That
Sure.
seems kind of like a nightmare to me, honestly.
Well,
you know,
wait till your
I guess
TV show comes out, man.
I think that's it. I think people think that that's going to be like that's going to like make you an instant celebrity. I just don't think it does. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to fill up. What I do know is like it's not going to fill up my social calendar all of a sudden with red carpet events
Sure.
and bookings, right? It's not going to do that. I mean,
Right.
it's going to get a lot of views and it might drive some business and I've got to leverage that to do to help my company and to help what I do and hopefully the business that we created in the business in the show changes the world. But yeah, like I don't know, man. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Well,
Do you chase celebrity? I don't see
no.
Jim out there.
Yeah, no, I know better than that. But I'll share this and it's kind of part of my I don't know, part of what makes me me. I can remember when my very first book came out, and it was a much different time. This is, before social media was a thing. This is really kind of, it actually predates, I think, the internet, or at least the commercialization of the internet. Well, you would go out and you would speak at events because you'd written a book. So I had written this book, and it took off pretty well. And I can recall, and some of the viewers may not love this story, but I'll warn you ahead of time. I'm at an event where I'm speaking, and I walk in to the men's room, and at the stall next to me is a guy, and he looks over at me and he goes, "Are you Jim Kerr?" Now, meanwhile, I'm in there, trying to
in the middle of right.
Yeah, and
That
I'm like,
unspeakable moment. You don't speak
yeah,
in the
right.
bathroom stall.
Exactly.
You're not
I'm like,
looking at each other in the bathroom stall.
normally
Yeah.
it's a straight ahead kind of
It's just
thing, but anyway,
right?
but anyway, the guy says, "Oh wow," I say yes, and he goes, "Oh, can I have your autograph? I have a copy of your book, and I'd love for you to sign it for me." And I'm like, "I'll see you out there,"
I'll
But
wash my hands first.
yeah, exactly. But it was a very kind of heady moment, and I think because I was really young, I had written my first book before I was 30, which was not a thing back in the day. Now everybody's writing books. 12-year-olds. If you want to self-publish something, you got it. But this is way before that was even a thing. And I can remember feeling a little uneasy about that someone recognized me, that someone wanted an autograph and all that. So I kind of made a decision shortly after coming back from that event and speaking with a mentor of mine about that experience and kind of saying, I'm really uncomfortable about this. And he goes, you really have to remember that the stuff that you put out there can make a difference for people. And when it does, they want to get closer and they want to know you and all that. And he's like, you're not doing it for that notoriety. You're doing it because you want to make a difference. So take it as an example or as an illustration that, you're making enough of a difference that somebody cares to ask you to sign a book, So that really helped me kind of put it all in perspective, So if we're in it to like you were saying in the beginning of the conversation, if we're in it to promote business and to try to help our clients do better, then that's cool. If we're about trying to make ourselves rock stars and feel good about ourselves, then I think there may be something deep down inside that needs to get addressed. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think that's spot on. And look, I mean, I'll admit, it's intoxicating to talk to big audiences, right? To be on stage. There's a energy in that, and there's a confidence that gives you, and it does. There is something there in that, and I'll admit that. And I love the energy that comes from being on stage or being, in front of people. And I think for me, the pursuit of that audience, that pursuit of celebrity, if you want to say it that way, there's, to me, my motivation to grow my audience is always to drive the business side of it and to offer what I think can help people. If that means celebrity, if that means chasing it and pursuing the stage, absolutely. And I'll say all day long, because the bigger stage, the more people I can help, the bigger I can. My responsibility is to grow my company, right?
Right.
My responsibility is to grow my audience so that we can do more work, and we can make the changes and offer the things that we think can really help and make differences in people's lives. That's my responsibility as a head of a company. And I think we have great products. So I think it's okay. I honestly think, pursuing that stage and pursuing that audience there's nothing wrong with it. And as you said earlier, the market's gonna kind of decide, do you have something worth that rock star status? Do you have something worth that's actually good? And just like musicians or bands, when the music's good and the song resonates, or the album resonates, people buy it.
Yep. Yeah, and, sure.
And I think that's a great analogy, right? That rock star stat, like, when you hit that rock star status, because you're probably pretty good.
Yeah. Well, let's flip the question a little bit on its side. Let me ask it this way: does a successful business need a celebrity leader? So for instance, how many people know Ola Kalinas? He's the CEO of Mercedes-Benz, right? Chairman of Daimler AG. But that's a guy that's not necessarily looking for the spotlight, but he's got a great business, and that business continues to grow, and it continues to offer really innovative products to the marketplace, and people really respond to those things and are willing to pay a premium, in fact, to buy those products. So I don't know, do you think it's a prerequisite? Do leaders need to be seeking the stage, seeking the limelight?
No, but I would imagine that he's an amazing communicator in some way, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Sure.
I think it maybe it's certain businesses need it more than others. I mean, I think as a small company, my brand and my visibility is sort of intrinsically linked, right? I mean,
you're the company.
I'm the face of the company, right? You're the face of your company,
right?
So there's I think there's a big difference there. At some point, Mark Zuckerberg was the face of Facebook, right? I mean, and so he really needed to be, the spokesperson, the person that was the most visible. So I think it depends. I think that's the answer to that is it depends.
Yeah, but do you think guys like Zuckerberg, I don't know, Musk, Jobs before him, Bezos, those guys, are they different kind of cats? Are they wired in a way that says, hey, I want to be famous. I want people to know where I'm sitting in a restaurant and maybe even figure out what I'm eating. Because they appear to spend a lot of time with that promotion. Then you see somebody like, I don't know, like a Sheryl Sandberg who did a lot of promoting, right, of her stuff. And then all of a sudden, all the controversy hit and we don't hear from her anymore. She's still the CEO of Facebook, but suddenly there's not a lot of publicity out there. So I don't know. Do you think they're different kinds of people? Are they wired in a different way to seek this kind of thing and to make it happen?
I do think that at a certain point, right? It like I said before, and sort of admitted, stage is intoxicating, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was on a Clubhouse thing a couple months ago with Elon Musk, right? And I thought that was a fascinating. That told me so much I didn't know about him, but in a lot of ways, I think some people like to hear the sound of their own voice.
Yes.
And the power that it can wield. I mean, he makes one comment and it, Bitcoin dives,
right,
or rises, or people like that can influence markets. And I'm not dissing on Elon Musk at all, because I think he's a genius.
Yeah, I do too.
But I absolutely, I think you get to that sort of status, and it's I don't know, maybe it becomes overwhelming, the amount of attention you get, but I think to an extent it helps drive their business.
Right? Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it helps drive Elon's business. It helps drive, every time Mark Zuckerberg appears in Congress, Facebook stock goes up or down, right? I mean, so their voice, changes things when they speak. So yeah, I think they're different, absolutely different.
Yeah, my sense is that public recognition at the scale that we're talking about with that part of the question tends to create this reaction within someone where they start to become more self-centered, and it becomes about them, and I wonder, is a self-centered leader good for business? Now, you make the case, well, those businesses are raving successes, and they were probably before the spotlight shined on their leadership. But now that it's there, it seems that they seek it. They're looking for where's the next opportunity to get on television, in the case of Musk, to host Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
And a lot of times sometimes that backfires, right? I mean,
right.
Sure. That there are lots of instances where they put their foot in their mouth, and it's really, they've had to walk back, or somebody's had to walk back what they said. That happens all the time, where you kind of get way ahead of your lane, or your stuff, and I think that's a real danger. It is, absolutely.
Yeah. Interestingly, in the lead up to the conversation today, we had some comments from folks ahead of time. And one of the really interesting ones that sort of sparked a bit of attention from me was the notion that maybe leaders are leaving money on the table by not pursuing fame, by not pursuing celebrity. What do you think about that? Is it possible in the scheme of things that some leaders just aren't, because they're shying away from the spotlight. And I think of some guys that are really successful, Warren Buffett, he's not afraid of the limelight, but he certainly isn't pursuing it,
No, I mean, he lets it pursue him. I mean, in a lot of ways.
Right. Yeah. So are we leaving money on the table?
I don't know. I think to each his own. I think a lot of people deal with, you told that story about, your first encounter with somebody recognizing you and wanting to get close to you. And I think that unnerves a lot of people. And I think these people struggle with the idea of self-promotion. They struggle with the idea of seeking, fame, seeking notoriety, or seeking the spotlight. And
Yep.
and I think people struggle with that, and I get it. I mean, we're sort of it's ingrained in us not to. I mean, I know, your mother probably told you the same thing, not to brag and not to
Right.
not to tell people about your own success or your own, and so I kind of grew up like that. I think I was probably told that.
Yeah.
You don't brag about how you win. When your team wins, you do it humbly, right? You don't, so we're kind of conditioned that way, and so I get the anxiety about how to do it and doing it at all. But yeah, I think in this, in the time that we're in, you could write the best book. You can have the best service. You can be the best coach in the world. But nobody's going to know about you if you don't tell your story. Nobody's going to know about you. Nobody's going to know about you if you don't get out there and talk about what you do and how you can help people with those testimonials and get out in front of people.
Sure.
If you don't get on that stage, nobody's going to.
You're not there. Yeah. I mean, it's funny.
I mean, if you play music and you want people to hear your music,
sure,
but you're not willing to get up on stage to play.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to get out there and promote it. And like we said in the beginning, I think it is a fine line there.
People aren't going to find you. I mean,
right.
Today, in this world, people aren't going to find you.
Yeah, there's just so much noise, and everybody's sort of struggling to get heard. So they're using all these different platforms, and some are really great at leveraging social media and the like to get out, let's face it, sometimes really weak messaging, stuff that's not really all that, creative or visionary. And I have to tell you, man, I'm frustrated by it sometimes. I sort of dedicated my life to thought leadership, 30 years of writing books and articles and things. And now I'm getting lost in the noise, I think. And, you kind of go, well, how did that really simple message, like, hey, be nice to somebody and you will win, resonate? And but somehow it does. And it's the marketing machine and all of that, leveraging all that stuff. And I don't know, it's really kind of interesting. I'm with you. I do think there's a certain amount is necessary in order to even be found.
It is. And I mean, today, I think that's the question today, right? Is how do good people get their message out there with all the crap and all the things that actually do get the millions of likes and the thousands of likes that are just, you look at that and you say, really? That's what resonates. And it's not that it's a bad message, right? But there are a lot of great people out there who just have, like your work is just fantastic and amazing. How do you get it out there now and use all these platforms and the live, LinkedIn Live and LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and all the other plethora of platforms.
Right.
Just to maintain, right? You're talking about just maintaining what you're doing. Right. That's not talking about how do you elevate it even higher.
Right. Hey, look, Rhett, I'm going to go grab another cup of coffee so we can take it back online and LinkedIn Live. But I want to say thanks again. And our next episode will feature Ilya Gregorius, who will talk about, is happy really the goal? So that could be a really fascinating one from the happiness doctor himself. That'll be back after the 4th of July, July 9th. Talk to you soon, Rhett. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.